when I go back to Hong Kong to teach, for example, I felt like my hands are tied because I feel like I want to be loyal to the studio, and if I were to teach anywhere else, I might burn the bridges at the studio. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, if I were to go back to Hong Kong to the studio to teach a teacher training, I think there was a clause in there that says that I'm not able to go back to Hong Kong within a certain period of time to teach a teacher training at another studio. So there is I think a lot of yoga studios want exclusivity to teachers, and it's all about it's business. It's business,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like they see teachers as assets,
Yeah.
as commodities.
Yeah.
You know, so then you are our teacher teaching here. You're not allowed to teach somewhere else.
Yeah. In a way, we own you.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. They own you. Yeah. But it comes with obviously the perks, but but we take care of you.
Yeah. But hey, here are all these students.
Right, exactly. And if we help you organize your retreats, but then you have all your hands are tied behind your back.
Yeah.
A lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there is no I wouldn't say there's no win-win situation, but then there will always be aspects or areas of on either side, either working independently or working for a studio, that has its advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah,
for sure. Working on your own, you have your own business. There are more things you gotta take care of, think of, and you can't. You have to be definitely more assertive and aggressive sometimes.
Yeah.
When it comes to business.
Yeah.
I think.
And how is your opinion even on money when it comes to, if we look at money in the sort of yoga context, like for example, like Austin, who I also interviewed, he said, oh, but money is Shakti, it's energy, How do you see that for you? Like, how is that for you?
Yeah, money is just another form of I think I see where Austin comes from, that money is energy, because it feeds the purpose, right? Because and it's also a form of exchange.
Yeah.
And it's also a form of recognition as well. Because I mean, the past how many months now I've been teaching online. So the first few months when I was teaching, when we went into lockdown during the pandemic in India, I was teaching online, and the first few months I was my teaching model was pay as you wish. If you don't want to pay, you don't need, or pay as you wish, or pay it forward.
Yeah.
Having said that, though, I am very, very blessed and very grateful that I do not have to worry about a roof over my head and putting food on the table. And I always acknowledge that, and I'm very, very grateful for that. So I have a little bit more breathing space.
Yeah.
And that allowed me to see money as a secondary motivation. And so my primary motivation was more, hey, people are stuck indoors. I have students who can't come for classes now.
Yeah.
So let's give people what they need right now.
Yeah.
With just a semblance or a feeling of community still, on no doubt just online and through Zoom or through whatever video platform. And so then I have my primary incentive, which is to serve and provide. And then the secondary incentive, which is, I get paid for this.
It's really beautiful how you're seeing it this way, like primary and secondary, because that's a really good point. And do you feel though that this is now with online teaching? Did you feel the same about normal teaching?
Online teaching has been hard. Well, there the beautiful part of it is that online teaching. I'm able to see my students back in Hong Kong. Like they've been tuning in.
Yeah,
right?
that's nice.
Before that, I mean, I've had it's funny, but before the pandemic, one of my goals for this year, 2020, was to explore more online platforms.
Well,
and so the pandemic maybe just kicked me in the
you asked for it, girl. You asked for it.
Right, to get going. I'm like, okay, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, exactly. What the hell?
Yeah. So, and I think online teaching, I'll be very frank with you, online teaching, since I went online, I've had to cancel, 2 teacher trainings because I can't teach a teacher training online fully. We've had this conversation before as well.
Yeah.
I just can't in good faith be accountable to my students and just give them a full online teaching. And so definitely my personal income has dropped a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a good thing that we're not traveling or anything like that. That's why I'm not spending so much money. I'm just kind of hunkering down here. But through how many months now? It's been what?
8 months or something.
8 months.
Yeah.
8 months now. It's November. I find that students, well, a lot of people are spending so much time online anyway, and then to go online again to take another class and be in front of the computer again is very. They call it Zoom fatigue.
Yeah.
It's tiring for the teacher, and it's tiring and exhausting and depleting for the student. And so, in a way, I really have to, kind of, my ego had to take a back seat, and I was like, well, yeah, sometimes I've got 1 or 2 students in class, but you still teach to the best of your ability and your capacity too, and serve whoever it is who is in class. But with regards to income wise, it's been a challenging year. I haven't been able to really do as much as I want to, no doubt also because there isn't much traveling anyway, and I've been spending most of the time indoors. But what was the question again? Where did we?
So what I asked you is like no, it's good that you're sharing. This was good. I'm not like Nora, answer the freaking question. No, what I was wondering is, and I think I know the answer already, but I just want the listeners to hear it. It's like, have you always been kind of in a luxury position where also it was primary and secondary before it was online? So were you also in a luxury position where, you weren't relying so much on your income because you didn't have to with your yoga teaching, or
actually,
how was that for you?
Yeah, because in Hong Kong, the cost of living is so much higher. And so in Hong Kong, I was busting my balls a lot. I was teaching. There's some weeks where I was teaching between like 25 to 30 hours.
Yeah, I remember that.
A week, or maybe classes. I can't remember. And I found that when you're teaching in survival mode, you definitely get burnt out.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me in Hong Kong. I was teaching because I had to keep up with expenses, living expenses in Hong Kong. Even though we had 2 incomes, like Jason, my husband, had an income. I had an income as well, but in Hong Kong it's expensive. You know how it is. Yeah. And so in Hong Kong, I felt like I still tried to keep a really balanced, like when we talk about primary incentive and a secondary incentive, like your incentive of service or incentive of making income. In Hong Kong, I found that it was a little bit
all over the place.
It was sometimes I was teaching because I had to, because I had to make the money, and sometimes on some months I was like, I feel like I'm here to serve. And so in Hong Kong I felt a little torn. And because in Hong Kong too it was my training ground. as a yoga teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I in hindsight, I look back at my experience there, and even though, it kicked my ass, Hong Kong kicked my ass, I busted my balls like 5 years there, it really helped me to hone my teaching. It really, really did.
Yeah.
And so even though there are times when I felt like I'm teaching for the sake of money, because for survival,
Yeah.
I definitely am still grateful for that opportunity. And even in Hong Kong too, I acknowledge how blessed I was to be in that position, even though I was tired all the time and I was burnt out. But it gave me a lot of opportunities to really explore all the different aspects of yoga and to explore and find my own voice in my own teachings.
Yeah.
And so then that was, Hong Kong was definitely more of a balancing act for me.
Yeah.
I was juggling between the two, service and income.
And this is a bit of like off the off the record kind of, not necessarily off the record. It's like off track is what I'm trying to say. Off track question. What came to you that you wanted to start doing your own teacher trainings? Was that also something that you always wanted to do, or was it also a financial sort of decision, or was it something that you just wanted to do for your experience?
I think it was a little bit of everything. I'll be very honest with you, right? Teacher trainings, you can definitely make a little bit more. But what really happened, I have been thinking about it for like about a year or two before I offered my first teacher training, maybe a year before. And what happened was that I had a couple of students here who just asked me or told me, Nora, if you were to offer a 200-hour teacher training, we'll take it.
I'm there.
So it's like, So it's like, okay, so I have the support and I had the time. That's most important. In Hong Kong, I didn't have the time or the mental capacity to write curriculum and to draft and to come up with a 200-hour teacher training curriculum. I just didn't have time. I didn't have the energy. I didn't have the mental capacity too. And once I moved to India, I was doing my own thing. I can plan my own time. I manage my own time. I was able to then really sit down and plan the curriculum for the teacher training. So it's really what India did for me was to give me the time and the space to do that. And teacher trainings, they are definitely lucrative. However, I do prefer a smaller and more intimate teacher trainings. All my teacher trainings, my maximum number of students is 10. Wow,
that's amazing. Yeah.
And because I'm in India, right? There are you're in India. There's so many teacher trainings here.
Yeah.
And some teacher trainings here are dirt cheap. Like you can't believe how cheap they are. And so, but I do pride myself firstly in smaller groups and classes, and also just teaching in a more personal way, where every student have access to me any time of the day, whatever they need. And it's I found that even though you make more money with bigger groups, but then the quality, and I still, for me, it's still service. When it comes to teacher trainings, I always weigh it with, yes, there's income, but definitely service is primary. Making sure that I'm sending people out to teach and to serve and to share the practice. That is primary. And then,
very good.
If I make a little bit more money with that, great. I've been very lucky, again, because I don't really have a lot of overheads, too much overheads. So, and because I teach on my own, because it's a small group, so I don't have an assistant. So that also helps.
And you have a space.
Obviously,
You have a space set up in your house as well, right? Like
Right.
Yeah, it's also, so no studio rent and...
Yeah,